Okay, welcome everyone. As Amy mentioned, my name is Sue Guan Lee. I am an extension educator with University of Idaho Extension, and I'm actually located in Twin Falls County, which is in the south central part of Idaho, known as the Magic Valley region. And thank you all for joining us for our You and I Together summer section. And today is week number 9. Can you believe that? It's already week number 9 for the summer section. So today, the topic that I will be presenting is so-called ramen tips and tricks. To start with, who are we? Who is University of Idaho Extension? So at U of I, we bring the knowledge and research-based information to you, to the people, to the community, to help you solve problems, and then build skills and then have a better future for that. And there are different areas that we are focusing on that are important to you, including food production systems, 4-H youth development, horticulture and small farms, community development, nutrition and health and wellness, and that is my area, forestry and natural resources and water. So with that, we actually are located in 42 out of 44 Idaho counties. To find a location near you, I'm going to ask Nikki to put it in the chat box for our directory so that you can find a local county office that is near you. So as I mentioned, today we are going to highlight nutrition, health, and wellness. So I have a video to show you.
University of Idaho Extension is keeping Idaho's citizens and communities healthy by helping people of all ages improve their health and build important life skills. From nutrition education, diabetes management, and food safety to family finance education, UI Extension is helping build healthy and thriving Idahoans.
That's great. So who am I? Just a quick introduction about myself. People call me Sue. I'm actually a family and consumer sciences extension educator. As I mentioned, I'm located in Twin Falls County Extension office. My area is in nutrition and health. So I have been focusing on doing a lot of nutrition education with community in this area. I do a lot of cooking classes with adults and youth. In fact, I just finished 1 week long summer camp last week with some kids. I also have been doing cooking classes virtually with families who can join us from home. I also oversee a program called Eat Smart Idaho, which is a federally funded program, and I oversee the program in my area in the Magic Valley region. So we also do a lot of classes to serve low-income individuals and families. So I've been doing a lot of fun stuff. So that's just an overview of what I do in my area. So I'm going to jump right into our topic today, which is ramen. Before I start, just very quickly to know, do you or does your family like ramen at all? Do you cook ramen at home, or what is it like? What's the preference? Just have an idea. Is it something that you serve all the time or once in a while, or you never had it before in your family? Just curious about that. Ramen is pretty straightforward. It's actually a bowl typically with some sort of broth base, and then with ramen noodles, which is typically long and thin wheat noodles, and then toppings on top. So there are a lot of variations, but regardless, that's pretty basic of the ramen.
Hey, Sue, before we continue, we have a poll to launch before you jump into your ramen tips and tricks. So I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll that Sue put together. So it's just a quick 4 questions.
Thank you, Nikki. Yep. Seems like we have people who really enjoy eating ramen, either at the restaurants and serve it to grandkids. That's great. Eat a lot of packaged ramen. Perfect. Seems like we have a lot of people liking it. So that's great. So are we still waiting for one more person?
One more person.
Okay.
Well, I'd say we're close enough. You can probably just end the poll, Nikki.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
All right, I'll share the results. So it looks like how many adults are attending the program? We have mostly one person, but there are a few with two. Second question is how many youth are attending the program? And we have 1 to 3, so that's a great result. And then, is this your first time participating in the University of Idaho Extension class, workshop, activity, or event? And most people say no, so everyone said no. So that's a great answer. And then, is this your first time participating in the U&I series? And this is all no. So great. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. So can we just close that up? Okay. So back to ramen. Do you know that ramen, it is actually, it was originated from China. Actually a variation, so-called ramen in China. And so then it was brought into Japan in the 17th centuries, I believe. Although there are a lot of different history or backgrounds, people think that but originally it's for sure, it's believed came from China. So it is now widely enjoyed by a lot of people internationally. So today, I will not be focusing on making authentic ramen because I think that will be a little tricky for that. Instead, I will be showing you how you can make your ramen tasty, but still be healthier for that. So it's a different version for that. Okay. So with that, I am going to go back to the back screen. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you can see what I am doing. Okay, so to start with, I am going to do a cook along program here. So hopefully I can get it done in 10-20 minutes. Okay, so to begin with, in the kitchen, I always recommend people to have an apron on. And definitely before you start cooking, always want to wash your hands for 20 seconds. Okay, if you are making it along with me, let's go. Let's do a good scrub of your hands. Okay. Make sure it's between your fingers, on top of both ends, your wrist, okay, between your thumbs, fingernails, okay, get a good scrub, okay. I'll rinse it with running water. So I hope you have a copy of my healthy and easy ramen recipe. So I am just going to show you step by step how I will be preparing that. Usually I would, if it is a kids cooking class, I usually would suggest people to really read it through, you know, what you will need, all the ingredients and what steps you will be preparing. So I don't know if you can see, my Miso Paste is actually ready at the back. So I kind of get things ready and set up. Okay, so to begin with, I am going to boil the water so that I can cook the noodles and the vegetables. Okay, so we get done with our first step, which is the hand washing. So the second step is we will be making the noodle. Making the soup. So to start with, we need the ginger and the garlic. So So for the garlic, if you wanted to do it easy to peel your garlic, I usually suggest people to get 2 bowls, 2 clean bowls, or you can always use a mason jar. Put the whole clove of the garlic in, close the lid. Okay, it's gonna be fun if you have younger ones to help you. Shake it hard for about 10 seconds. Okay. And then Nikki, maybe you can spotlight my second camera, which is then you can see how that will actually come off pretty.
Sue, could you turn on the second camera?
Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't, huh? Sorry about it. So here is my garlic clove. See how easy it come out, okay? So I think we are good. Next is I am just going to mince it. So get a knife, okay, feel comfortable. Because mincing is pretty easy. You basically just really chop and chop and chop. Okay. Is anyone cooking with me right now? I am not quite sure, but if you are cooking along with me, let me know. I actually prep a few items ahead of time. So if I am doing too fast, please put in the chat, or you can even unmute yourself, I believe. Okay. So what I'm doing is I am just using my knife. So I grip like this, like kind of pinch my blade, and then have a good grip of my knife. And just kind of rock along it. Okay, so I think that is pretty good. Of course, if you want, you can mince it even thinner, but just give you an idea for that. Okay, then next will be the ginger. I love ginger for sure. At the store, you can buy this like a whole section of it, depending on your recipe, how much you need. Sometimes you can get a small fingers, but I usually get a bigger one because I use it quite often. And then I can use a spoon and just peel off the skin if you would like. Okay. I was just sharing my coworker today saying that actually at home, I'm from Malaysia, by the way. So when my mom cooks, usually we cook with the peel on. But here I know most people like to peel off the skin. So give you an idea that if you use a spoon, you can peel off the skin easily. There. You just use a grater. Okay. Be careful because this is sharp. And just grate like that. And we are making 2 servings. I believe we only need a little bit of grated ginger, 2 teaspoons. Okay, great. Not a lot. Okay. So I'm just checking how much I get. I think this looks good. Okay. Fresh ginger is very good. It's gives you that aroma, but it also has antibacterial and anti-inflammatory benefits. So it's all good. If this is too messy for you, you can always buy those tubes, like a ginger, it comes in the tube. That will work as well. Okay, so this is the 2 main thing. Next, what I will be doing or showing you is to measure the broth, because we will be making the soup. Okay, so I am going to show you to measure the liquid. You definitely need a liquid measuring cup. Otherwise, to imagine if you use the dry ingredient. Let me show you that. This will work, but it may create a mess. This will work better for dry ingredients. For liquid ingredients like broth, I suggest you to use a liquid measuring cup, and we will need 3 cups. Okay, so I will just go down and see where my 3 cups marker is. Okay, and then look at it. eye level. Okay. There you go. So this is my 3 cups of low sodium chicken or vegetable broth. So you can use either vegetable or chicken broth. And I did suggest you to use less sodium version because typically, Americans, we eat so much salt and we don't need that much. So you can choose the reduced salt version. And then we are going to measure. Okay. So 2 teaspoons of the minced garlic. Okay, I'm just gonna add it to this big measuring cup. Then later on, I can add all in to make the broth. Okay, 2 teaspoons of the ginger. Okay. Sesame oil. Okay, let me take my sesame oil. Right here. Okay, sesame oil, and you just need a little bit, about a teaspoon. Sesame oil sometimes can be quite strong, so it's your preference. If you want it, less, you definitely can use less. And then we need a little bit of sugar. So sugar actually just gives a little sweetness to your dish. So we need about a teaspoon of it. Okay. Teaspoon of the sugar, and then a little bit of pepper. Now that my pot is boiling with the water, I am going to transition to the step number 3. Okay, you can cook the noodles and the vegetables together, but it depends on how long it cooks for your vegetables or your noodles. I'm going to start with carrots, because I already prepped that. I have carrots and broccoli that I pre-cut. So I am going to cook them so that they are soft. And then broccoli as well. Right? Next is the noodles. These noodles only take 3 minutes to cook. So I need to wash that. So I'm gonna put my noodles in. Okay, close the lid and set my timer for 3 minutes. And you probably will notice I actually don't use the seasoning packet because often it has lots of sodium in it and it doesn't have much flavor. So I would suggest you, that's why you follow the recipe that tells you how to make the soup. So that gives you a more flavorful broth with that, okay? So we have the broth, the garlic, ginger, oil, sesame oil, and sugar. And I just need a little bit of black pepper, and that is just half teaspoon. Okay. I noticed I am probably running out of time, that I probably will not be able to complete the whole thing.
You have about 8 minutes, 9 to 8 minutes.
So, and I figure you can do it yourself too, because it's pretty straightforward. So this is the broth that later on, I'm gonna add my mushroom, because mushroom give you the umami flavor, right? So give you more flavor to your broth. So can you imagine? I can already smell it, you know, the broth with the sesame oil, ginger, garlic, and then everything to it, and then a little bit of sweetness from the sugar. So this will be just perfect. So when you are done with the noodles, I probably have about 1 minute to cook my noodles. So I think noodles are pretty personal, like whether you like it very soft. I think probably soft, but not all the way to a mushy style. But you know, if you want a little crunch, so it depends on you how long you want to cook the noodles to get different texture of it. Okay. I set my timer for 3 minutes. And I have about 45 seconds left. But you know what? I am going to turn it off and drain it. I typically will not use the first water. So if I'm cooking from a package, I will drain it. I will cook it and drain it and rinse it with cool running water. By doing that, it gives me more, it removes the fat when they make those instant noodles, but it also gives me a little more texture to my noodles, okay? So by running through the cool running water, it also cools down the cooking so that it doesn't continue cooking that, okay? Then what I'm gonna do is I am going to use the same pots and then pour. See, that's why you use a liquid measuring cup, right? Can go all in, and then I'm going to use the same pot. Okay, to cook it. So you let it cook, let it simmer for 5 minutes, get all the aroma, cool it down for a little bit. Then you can add the miso paste, which is optional in this recipe, but I strongly encourage you to try if you have never tried miso. It's pretty good. It's actually made with soybean. It gives you a lot of flavor to it. It is so-called a fermented product, so it has a good bacterial for your gut. So that might be something you can try. Let me show you how they look like. I actually bought this from an Asian store in Boise. I'm pretty sure you can find it in any Asian store. So this is one that I got. You just need a little bit, and it has pretty high salt content, so you don't need a lot. You know, you can always start with a quarter teaspoon, half teaspoon to begin with. So that might be something to add to the flavor, but also good bacteria to your gut. Make sure you don't boil though. By boiling it, you will kill the good bacteria in it. So you want to simmer it, and then only you add this miso paste to your broth. So that's pretty much it. I think we have about 6 minutes left. So to make your ramen really good, tasty, and healthy, so I mentioned about broth, right? Don't use the seasoning packet, because typically it comes with a seasoning packet that has lots of sodium and it doesn't have good flavor. So I usually would throw that away and then make my own broth. If you're looking at the nutrition facts label, you can take a look at it. Usually, see this small package is actually 2 servings in here. And the sodium is actually 1440 milligrams. So half of what you need a day, just if you had the whole package of this. Okay, if you empty the whole package, whole seasoning, that will be 1440 milligrams. Yeah, that's a lot of sodium that you need. Okay, so that is why we use a low sodium broth and then add those, spices to enhance the flavor for your dish. Okay, so that will be your broth. Okay, so and noodles wise, there are so many different varieties from the package that you can try with that. It's up to your preference. You can use fresh or packet. Either way will be fine. The last one will be toppings. I think toppings will be the fun one. You can do a lot of toppings that you want. My recipe actually calls for carrots and broccoli. So I like different colors, and then corn, so it gives you orange color, you know, green color, yellow color for the corn. So you have a different variety for your noodles. Okay. If I present that to show you, so this is my bowl. Okay. Let me find my chopsticks. Okay. If you haven't tried it out, you can buy a pair of chopsticks to try it at home to eat with your noodles. Sometimes I even will buy pasta, like whole grain pasta, for my noodles as well. It works really well if you don't mind, and it gives you another layer of the texture for that, especially if you do whole wheat pasta, and you also get extra fiber for that. So just give you an idea, see, by the color, you know, you get more nutrients, vitamins from your noodle bowls, but, you know, adding more vegetables, that would be good, you know, presentation and appearance. And absolutely, you can add more protein to your bowl. So my version is a vegetarian ramen. You are welcome to add some sort of protein to your bowl, like, you know, soft boiled eggs, for example, or like a slice of meat. Yeah, sometimes I typically just add an egg to it, or shrimp, for example. You know, anything you would like, you can always add to it so that you will get a complete meal, because you get the grain group and you get vegetable and some sort of protein to complete it. Okay. Do we have any questions, Nikki?
We do. We have one question. Is it a commonplace now in China and Japan for people to use the ramen packet, or do they normally make their own flavoring and broth?
I wanted to say in Japan, like the ramen, yeah, they actually serve it like fresh. They use fresh noodles. And I know I used to have a Japanese roommate, and she always uses, sorry, my broth is boiling. She always uses fresh noodles. Instant is just easy, and it's popular, and there's so many varieties, different brand and different kinds. I usually use that, but not using the seasoning packets. I do want to show you one more thing though. I know it is hot, right? It's so hot, and it's summer. I think probably you would be thinking like, Sue, are you kidding me? You're making this noodle soup dish for us. So I actually came out with another recipe that I really wanted to share with you, and that is so-called cold ramen. So I am going to share with you. So this is the recipe that if you wanted to try it out, it's basically, instead of using a broth, you will add those seasoning to your noodles, and it becomes more like a refreshing ramen salad. So it has low sodium soy sauce, rice vinegar, a little bit of water, sesame oil, sugar, grated ginger, and then a little bit of chili oil if you want it a little spicy. So it's kind of similar to my soup, but this is just more like a salad, kind of ramen salad. So that it's more refreshing to you for the summertime. Okay, and so that is pretty much what I have. Thank you so much. I think we are time out, but I do want to share with you one more thing is we still have one more class coming out. That's next week. So we hope that you can join us next week.